The sun rises slowly over a vast, untamed landscape, painting the savanna in hues of gold and amber. Imagine a world untouched by cities, where the horizon stretches endlessly, dotted only by the silhouettes of towering acacia trees and the occasional roaming animal. This is Earth 3 million years ago, a place of raw beauty, peril, and endless possibility. But amid this ancient expanse, a small group of beings moves cautiously through the grasses, their eyes scanning, ears alert to every sound. These are our earliest ancestors, the hominids who would unknowingly lay the foundations of human society. Have you ever wondered how life was for them, and more importantly, how they survived in a world teeming with predators and uncertainty? Unlike today, survival was not guaranteed by shelter, medicine, or fire. It was secured by ingenuity, observation, and a remarkable ability that would define the human story: cooperation. Picture a moment in this distant past. A pair of hominids works together to dig for roots, one holding a simple stone while the other extracts a hidden tuber. Nearby, another group communicates with a series of gestures and low sounds, coordinating their search for water. Every glance, every movement carries meaning. Every small act of collaboration is a vital thread in the fragile fabric of life. In these subtle interactions, the seeds of complex social behavior begin to take root, long before words or written symbols existed. Yet cooperation was not merely about survival. It was about understanding others, predicting their needs, and learning to trust despite the ever-present dangers of the wild. A misstep could mean injury, starvation, or death. The stakes were high, and the lessons were learned in real time, etched into the behaviors that would echo through millions of years of human evolution. As we explore this era, ask yourself, how did these early hominids recognize the value of working together? How did they communicate without language, resolve conflicts, and share knowledge across generations? These questions are not only gateways into the past, they are mirrors reflecting the origins of everything that makes us human today. If you find yourself captivated by the thought of our ancestors navigating such a world, hit like and share your ideas in the comments below. Your curiosity is part of the same drive that pushed those first humans to observe, adapt, and cooperate. And with that, let's step deeper into the environment that shaped them, the landscapes, the climate, and the wild challenges of 3 million years ago. 3 million years ago, the Earth was a mosaic of shifting landscapes, a world in constant flux. Imagine wide-open savannas stretching to distant horizons, dotted with scattered forests, river systems, and marshlands. This was a land ruled not by human hands, but by the rhythm of seasons, rainfall, and migration patterns of countless species. Volcanoes occasionally sent smoke into the sky, and massive herds of herbivores moved across the plains, creating a living tapestry of life and survival. The climate was warmer than today, yet unpredictable. Dry spells could leave waterholes parched, forcing animals and humans to travel great distances for sustenance. Towering grasses swayed under the wind, providing both cover and challenge for those who dared to hunt or gather within them. Trees offered refuge and food, while rivers and lakes acted as lifelines in an otherwise harsh and untamed environment. Every corner of this world demanded awareness, quick thinking, and sometimes cooperation. This environment shaped early hominids in profound ways. The vast openness of the savanna meant that danger could appear at any moment: a stalking predator, a flash flood, or even rival groups competing for scarce resources. Yet it was also a land of opportunity. Nuts, roots, fruits, and tubers provided nutrition. The movement of herbivores offered hunting possibilities, and the varied terrain encouraged innovation in tool use, foraging strategies, and social organization. Early humans had to read the land as carefully as they read each other. Every rock, every tree, every track in the dirt told a story. Learning to anticipate these signals was crucial for survival. The landscape was not merely a backdrop, it was a living character in the story of human evolution, shaping behaviors, relationships, and the very instinct to cooperate. As we follow the footsteps of these early hominids, consider the challenges they faced and how these challenges would slowly teach them lessons in teamwork and shared responsibility. From the harsh sun to the predators lurking in the tall grass, every element of this ancient world demanded a level of awareness and adaptability that would become the foundation of human ingenuity. Amid the golden grasses and winding rivers, the early hominids moved with a blend of caution and curiosity. These were not modern humans. They were Australopithecus and other contemporaries, creatures shaped by the land and climate of 3 million years ago. Picture them, small but resilient, covered in coarse hair, with faces that carried hints of our own, yet marked by the raw survival instincts of a species still learning its place in the world. Life for these early hominids was an intricate dance with nature. They were primarily foragers, moving in small groups, scanning the horizon for both food and threats. Their hands, capable of holding tools but not yet refined in precision, grasped roots, fruits, and stones that could be used for digging or cracking nuts. Every movement was purposeful, every sound a potential signal. Survival required not only strength and stamina, but also the ability to observe, imitate, and sometimes teach. Yet it was their social bonds that set them apart from other species. Even in the absence of language, gestures, glances, and shared tasks created a web of connection. A mother guiding her, offspring to edible tubers, a sibling watching for predators, a small group collaborating to extract water from a stubborn root. These interactions were more than instinct. They were the earliest forms of culture, the first hints of what it meant to be human. Imagine a day in their lives. The rising sun warms their backs as they venture into the savanna, alert to every sound, the distant roar of a predator, the rustle of a hidden bird, the murmurs of their own group. Cooperation, though primitive, was a necessity. Individuals who learned to share resources, warn others of danger, and synchronize their movements increased their chances of survival. In this way, the foundations of empathy, trust, and collective problem-solving were being quietly laid, even without words. These early hominids were pioneers in a world that demanded adaptability. Observing their behaviors offers us a glimpse into the evolutionary pressures that shaped human intelligence, social structures, and the enduring drive to work together. They were small, yet mighty in potential, and every choice, every interaction contributed to the story of humanity itself. As we move deeper into their world, we begin to understand how the need for collaboration became a force as vital as food or shelter, and how the earliest forms of cooperation would evolve into the complex societies we know today. In the vast savannas and scattered forests of 3 million years ago, survival depended not just on strength or speed, but on the ability to act together. Cooperation emerged as a subtle yet powerful force, a quiet revolution in the lives of early hominids. Imagine small groups moving with shared intent, each individual aware that success, or failure, depended on more than their own abilities. Every shared effort, from digging for tubers to standing watch for predators, was a lesson in the art of collaboration. But how did these early humans learn to cooperate when language was still absent? The answer lies in observation, imitation, and mutual necessity. A hominid that noticed another using a rock to crack a nut might try it themselves. Those who helped carry heavy food or warn of danger found themselves more likely to survive. Cooperation became an unspoken rule, a pattern reinforced by the consequences of action. Sharing was survival, teaching was strategy, Assisting others was both pragmatic and instinctive. The very landscape encouraged collaboration. Predators lurked in shadows, and resources were often too difficult to obtain alone. A single individual could not easily dig up tubers, fend off large animals, or gather enough food for the group. Working together meant pooling strength, knowledge, and attention. In this environment, cooperation was a form of intelligence, an adaptive behavior honed over countless interactions. Consider the subtle signals that communicated intent and trust. A glance, a gesture, a gentle touch on the shoulder, each act carried meaning. Early hominids developed an intuitive understanding of each other's needs, responding to signals in ways that strengthened group cohesion. These small, deliberate behaviors were the invisible threads binding individuals into functional teams, capable of confronting challenges no single hominid could face alone. Cooperation also sowed the seeds of social learning. When one individual discovered a new foraging technique or tool use, others observed and adopted it. Knowledge spread through imitation, turning personal survival strategies into shared wisdom. In this way, early hominids were not merely surviving, they were building a culture of collaboration, one instinctive act at a time. What examples of cooperation do you imagine from this time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think early humans first learned to work together? Your ideas could echo the same curiosity that inspired humans to connect, teach, and thrive millions of years ago. The first hominids were not solitary, hunters. Survival demanded movement, strategy, and cooperation in ways that went beyond mere instinct. Hunting and gathering were dangerous endeavors, yet they offered a unique opportunity to strengthen bonds within the group. Imagine a small group moving quietly across the tall grasses, scanning for signs of game while listening to the faint rustle of leaves or the distant calls of prey. Each member played a role, some distracted, others ambushed, and others remained vigilant against predators. In this choreography, the success of the hunt depended on timing, observation, and shared focus. Gathering, too, required cooperation. Roots, tubers, and fruits were scattered across the landscape, often in places difficult to reach or guarded by thorns. Working together, hominids could access these resources more efficiently. One might hold branches aside while another dug or guide a younger member toward edible plants. Through these repeated acts, practical knowledge of the environment was shared and a sense of mutual reliance was reinforced. Tools became an extension of collaboration. Stones cracked nuts, sticks dug roots, and early wooden implements helped carry or process food. Those who learned to pass these tools along or demonstrate their use were effectively teaching the group, creating a system of shared skill that increased the survival rate for everyone. In essence, hunting and gathering were laboratories for social learning, a place where cooperation was practiced, refined, and rewarded. The environment shaped these behaviors as much as any internal instinct. Dangerous predators lurked near watering holes, and droughts made water sources scarce. A lone hominid might survive by chance, but a coordinated group could secure resources more reliably. Cooperation was not optional. It was a strategy encoded into daily life, a subtle understanding that together, survival was more achievable than alone. Through hunting and gathering, early humans began to develop complex patterns of behavior that would echo through generations. Observing their strategies today gives us insight into the origins of teamwork, communication, and shared problem-solving. Every meal acquired through collaboration was not just nourishment. It was a lesson in trust, coordination, and the immense potential of working together in a challenging world. Long before words existed, communication was already a lifeline for early hominids. Imagine a group navigating the uneven terrain of 3 million years ago, alert to every rustle, scent, and shadow. Their survival depended on conveying information without language, a complex challenge that required creativity, intuition, and acute observation. A subtle gesture of the hand, a shift in posture, a low hum or bark could signal danger, indicate the presence of food, or coordinate a movement across the landscape. These early signals formed a rich tapestry of understanding. Eye contact and facial expressions conveyed urgency or reassurance. Touch became a language of guidance and connection, teaching young members how to forage or carry tools safely. Even vocal sounds, grunts, clicks, and calls transmitted intent, whether to rally the group or ward off threats. Though simple compared to modern speech, these forms of communication were precise enough to sustain collaboration and social cohesion. Communication before language also demanded empathy and attention. Each hominid had to interpret the meaning behind movements and sounds, a skill that honed social intelligence over countless interactions. Trust grew in this silent dialogue. Those who understood signals were more likely to be included in hunts, gather food efficiently, and avoid danger. Misreading a signal could mean hunger, injury, or even death, making attentiveness a survival skill. Consider the early conversations that took place during daily activities. One hominid signals a fruit-bearing tree, another follows, observing how to harvest without damaging the food. A predator approaches silently, and subtle gestures ripple through the group to indicate the threat, coordinating a collective retreat. In these moments, the groundwork for language, storytelling, and culture was being laid. Communication was both a practical tool and a social glue. It allowed early humans to share knowledge, coordinate complex tasks, and build trust long before words emerged. Every signal, every gesture, every sound was a step toward the rich tapestry of human interaction we take for granted today. In a world without written records, knowledge was a treasure passed from hand to hand, eye to eye. Early hominids discovered that survival depended not only on finding food or avoiding predators, but also on sharing what they learned with others. Imagine a small group sitting near the edge of a river, observing as one member uses a sharpened stone to crack open a hard-shelled nut. Others watch intently, learning the motion, the angle, the force required. This simple act of sharing knowledge was revolutionary. It transformed individual skill into group advantage. Tools were more than objects. They were extensions of intellect and cooperation. Stones, sticks, and bones were manipulated to dig, cut, or hunt, and teaching their use created a ripple effect. One hominid might demonstrate how to dig a tuber, while another shows a more efficient way to carry water. Over time, these shared techniques became embedded in the group's daily routines, forming the earliest culture of learning and mentorship. The act of sharing knowledge also strengthened social bonds. A hominid who taught or shared a tool earned trust and respect, while those who observed and adopted new skills enhanced group survival. Cooperation was no longer just instinct. It became intentional. Teaching and learning fostered empathy, communication, and collective problem-solving, preparing the way for more complex societies. Even in subtle ways, the exchange of information shaped behavior. A gesture, a glance, a repeated demonstration, these were all signals that conveyed lessons and expectations. When a group faced danger or scarcity, the accumulated knowledge of past experiences guided decisions, turning survival into strategy. Sharing tools and techniques was, in essence, an early form of leadership and collaboration. Think about the lessons hidden in these moments. How early humans communicated strategy, demonstrated skill, and ensured that vital knowledge endured beyond a single lifetime. What innovations or skills do you imagine were most important for survival at that time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflections connect with the same curiosity that inspired early humans to teach, learn, and thrive together. Life 3 million years ago was far from peaceful. Even as early hominids learned to cooperate, the world around them remained a constant source of challenge and conflict. Predators prowled the savannas, droughts parched the land, and rival groups competed for scarce resources. Survival was not guaranteed, and every day demanded vigilance, strategy, and sometimes confrontation. Imagine a small group foraging near a river when a pride of large predators approaches. The hominids must react quickly, using signals, gestures, and collective effort to avoid disaster. A misstep could cost a life. A coordinated response could mean safety. These tense encounters tested their ability to work together, under pressure, strengthening social bonds while sharpening instincts. Conflict was not only external. Competition within the group could arise over food, mating opportunities, or leadership. These moments required negotiation, compromise, and sometimes subtle displays of dominance. Groups that navigated internal tensions effectively were more likely to survive, illustrating that cooperation was not simple. It was a dynamic, evolving skill. Environmental challenges further shaped their behavior. Seasonal floods, wildfires, and shifting food sources forced groups to adapt quickly. Early humans who shared knowledge about safe paths, water locations, or hunting strategies had a distinct advantage. Cooperation became both defensive and proactive, a tool for survival and problem-solving. Through challenges and conflicts, early hominids refined the principles of collaboration. Every predator encounter, every scarcity, every disagreement was a lesson in trust, communication, and strategic thinking. These experiences laid the groundwork for the complex social structures that would define humanity in the millennia to come. By observing early hominids, we begin to see the enduring lessons embedded in cooperation. Life 3 million years ago was fraught with uncertainty, yet those who learned to work together, share knowledge, and anticipate the needs of others gained a distinct advantage. These lessons were simple in principle, but profound in impact, laying the foundation for all human social evolution. Early humans demonstrated that survival was not purely an individual endeavor. The ability to coordinate actions, divide labor, and distribute resources turned vulnerability into resilience. Those who could respond collectively to danger or scarcity increased the likelihood of group survival, creating a culture where collaboration was rewarded and isolation was risky. Knowledge sharing, too, proved essential. Skills and techniques passed from one individual to another. How to crack nuts, dig roots, or craft basic tools enhanced the group's efficiency and adaptability. By transmitting these lessons, hominids not only preserved valuable information, but also fostered trust, empathy, and a sense of community. These early patterns of cooperation also reveal the origins of human intelligence and problem-solving. Coordinated action required planning, observation, and the ability to predict outcomes, while social learning encouraged memory, imitation, and creativity. In essence, cooperation acted as both a survival mechanism and a catalyst for cognitive development, shaping the trajectory of humanity long before language or civilization existed. Reflecting on these lessons today reminds us that many human traits, empathy, teamwork, innovation, were forged in response to the challenges of a harsh and unpredictable world. The first humans teach us that collaboration is not a modern luxury, but an ancient necessity woven into the very DNA of our species. As the sun sets over the ancient landscapes, we pause to reflect on the journey of our earliest ancestors. 3 million years ago, survival was not guaranteed, yet early hominids found ways to thrive through collaboration, shared knowledge, and intuitive communication. Every gesture, every act of teaching, every coordinated effort was a testament to the power of connection. These first bonds were fragile, yet profound. They reveal that human progress has always been rooted in the ability to understand, support, and work alongside others. From sharing tools to navigating dangers, cooperation became more than a survival strategy. It was the first expression of culture, empathy, and collective intelligence. The patterns established in those early groups ripple through time, influencing the social structures, communities, and civilizations that define humanity today. Thinking about these ancient collaborations invites us to see our modern lives in a new light. The trust, teamwork, and shared wisdom we often take for granted are echoes of these first human experiments in togetherness. They remind us that even in a world of immense challenges, humans have always possessed the remarkable capacity to learn from each other and grow stronger as a result. As you consider the story of life 3 million years ago, reflect on your own experiences of cooperation and connection. How do the lessons of the past inform the way we collaborate today? Our ancestors' ingenuity and empathy continue to inspire us, offering a timeless reminder that progress is forged not in isolation, but through bonds that unite us across generations.